They were having a hell of a great weekend.
Yeah.
We're all
We ready?
okay.
Okay. We'll call the Board of Selectmen's meeting to order for September 4th. We have any reason for non-public?
We do under 91A:3, Roman numeral 2, lowercase a, public employment negotiations, and 91A:3, Roman numeral 2, lowercase e, 3 items under pending or threatening litigation.
Okay. Consideration of minutes. The August 7th minutes we've already approved. So we don't need to deal with those. Start with the 14th. Anybody have any changes?
I'll make a motion to accept them as written.
I have a change.
You've changed?
Yeah, I have a couple. Sorry.
Okay.
We already done
First,
that.
first page under A, my paragraph, Mr. O'Brien stated that should, instead of interloop, it should be interlock. And then on page 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 lines up. Mr. O'Brien questioned if the drainage and roads, pluralized, need to be fixed, explaining it is a mitigation strategy, so remove the words "and irrigation strategy" to keep the lakes clean. Other than that, I'm fine. Thank you.
Okay.
And I'll change my motion to read as amended.
Amended.
Second.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Okay, August 21st.
Yeah, I have on page 9, top paragraph, it says, see attached sheet, which was the conditions for the twister, and the conditions were not included, and I would like them included.
Okay, so they're not in the minutes, but you want them put in the minutes?
Yes.
Okay. All right, anything else?
Move to approve as amended.
I'll second.
Thank you.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
There you
We have next on the agenda is a public hearing. Public hearing application to serve and offer beer and wine for consumption on town property. The Wolfeboro Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, September 4th, 2019 at 6:35 at the town Hall Great Room, 84 South Main Street, Wolfeboro, New Hampshire, to consider the application for an issuance of an alcoholic beverages permit to the Friends Wolfeboro Library to host a fundraiser on October 5th, 2019 in the Great Hall from 4 to 6 that includes a wine tasting. Somebody here for that?
Wine tasting.
Hi, I'm Andrea Dudley. I'm on the board of the Friends, and I'm chair of the event, and I'm joined here by Nancy Giardini, who's the president of the Friends as well. I know you're all aware of the work that the Friends of the Library does to provide kind of the extras for the library, some of the things that the town funds can't provide, such as computers for the public and summer reading programs, craft programs, and the like. We raise money for these events through things like the Book and Author Luncheon and used book sales and through membership. Now we're kind of turning our attention to trying to figure ways to help Cindy Scott do some of the furnishing and other enhancements for the new expanded and library building. So Karen Baker from the Country Bookseller came to us with an offer to bring 6 nationally renowned mystery authors to Wolfeboro for an event. We've set that for Saturday evening, October 5th. 2 of these authors have been in Wolfeboro in the past at our book and author events, and they specifically asked to come here to an event. They were apparently received such a warm welcome they wanted to come back. They're also appearing that weekend at a bookstore in Newburyport and one further north in New Hampshire. So it's really a coup to get them to Wolfeboro. It's the only appearance kind of in the southern tier, if you can call us southern, in the state of New Hampshire. So we've planned to serve beer and or it's actually just wine and light refreshments. The authors will be on hand to speak to people in the public. They'll sign books, autograph books, and that kind of thing. We've been made aware of all the requirements for use of the Great Hall, and we've secured an insurance policy that we believe meets the requirements that you asked for with the serving of wine. So Nancy and I would be happy to answer any questions you might have and also sell you some tickets if you'd like. So.
Okay, does anybody have any questions?
No, I don't. The only thing we had on our list was the insurance, and you've taken care of that for us.
Okay.
Good.
Public hearing?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, is there anybody who wants to speak in favor of this? Anybody opposed? Okay, we'll close the public hearing.
Thank you.
Would
you.
somebody like to make a motion?
I move that we approve an application for the issuance of an alcoholic beverages permit to the Friends of the Wolfeboro Public Library to hold a fundraiser on October 5, 2019 in the Great Hall from 4 to 6 p.m. that includes wine tasting.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any further discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you and good luck.
Thank you.
Okay, next is New Hampshire Lakes Region Pickleball Club hosts the 6th annual pickleball tournament at Foss Field on September 11th through 13th, 2020, from 7 a.m. to 6 p.m.
Mr. Chairman, I would like to table that. I have no information in my packet, so there's no way we can make any kind of decision.
If that's a motion, I'll second it.
Okay, all those in favor? To
Aye.
the table? Aye.
It means they can't hold it,
That means we need more
They
information.
need more information.
but we're not having another meeting before they want to hold it.
This is next year.
This is next
Oh,
year,
next year, okay.
2020. We have enough time, I think.
I think we have a lot of time.
I hope we have enough time to pull that off.
Okay, a bulk vote. That's a weekly manifest. Intent to cuts, property tax credit exemption.
I'll make a motion to approve the bulk vote, items A through C.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Okay. Sure, I get the right ones here. That one. Board appointments, we don't have anything. New business. Cape Park wedding request. Jim, you want to do that one?
Lady's here, she would like to come up and speak to what she's proposing.
Hi, good evening. My name is Sandra Daniels, and I and my soon-to-be husband, Dennis Cunningham, have fallen in love with your town. We are doing, we have September 28th, we were hoping to use Cape Park, a beautiful location, and we're also having our Wind Drifter, we're having our afterwards ceremony, and I was hoping to have permission to use this beautiful park on September 28th. We have about 50 guests that are interested in coming, and the time of use we're looking for is from, let's see,
You have three.
2:30 to 2:30 to probably 3:30, I think.
Okay, does anybody have any questions? I didn't see anything in the schedule that was going to be an issue.
So is it 2:30 to 3:30? Because on our little cheat sheet here, it says 3 to 4.
So the ceremony starts at 3, so if guests arrive early, I just want to give you more time, and then we would like to do pictures at Cape Park as well. So the max would be 4 o'clock at the latest, I think.
And you know that the park stays open, there will be people milling around, and we can't close the park, right?
Right, no, absolutely.
So you'll be photobombed by a bunch of people.
I'm okay with that.
Okay. Somebody want to entertain a motion?
I make a motion to grant Sandra Daniels permission to use Cape Park for her wedding on September 28th, 2019, from 2:30 to 4.
Yes, please.
I'll second that.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you and good luck.
Thank you so much. I very
Good
much
luck.
appreciate it.
Okay. Sonic Temple assessing. I just made copies of a letter which I have not even read myself from Todd in reference to this. So I'd like to table that to another meeting. I'll make that motion to table to another meeting.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
A policy revision employee evaluations. Jim?
Yeah, one of the items that we've identified in the department head meetings that's extremely difficult for our department heads is to perform their employee evaluations during the month of September, during the same time frame which they're building their budgets, getting ready to bring their budgets in. So they really can't get a good, thorough evaluation and spend some time with the employees. We felt that this was really important to change this to a time frame that was more consistent with, one, an ability to have the department heads spend some time with the employees, and two, to be able to tie it with the personal action report, which is what implements the employees' raise. We felt tying those two items together would streamline some operations for our department heads. With that, I'll entertain any questions that you may have.
I have one question. Does that mean that we are going to go 18 months without evaluations taking place?
That would be correct.
Well, I think anything, from my perspective, to make it easier for department heads, I'm in favor of it. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, I think it makes a lot of sense too to change it to those dates, so I'll be good with that.
Concurrently, we do plan on, our HR person is enrolled in some professional development, and our hopes are that we're able to bring back maybe a better document for our department heads to work with our employees onto.
Okay.
Jim?
We need, yeah, go ahead.
For what it's worth, the last sentence, further, the employee must sign the evaluation and indicate whether or not they challenge any portion of it. That may be standard in your world. In my world, the employee just acknowledges that they've received the document.
I would concur that that's probably correct, Paul. Honestly, at this point, it was a cut and paste and a
that's okay.
change of a date.
Because an employee may opt to say, I don't agree with it and I'm not signing it.
Agreed.
What you want is you want somebody to say, you've at least proffered a document to me. Okay, that's for what it's worth.
Yep, agreed, thank you.
We need a motion to change that?
I just have one comment. I think 18 months is a long time to go without evaluating. I have no problem changing the date, and I understand all your rationale, but 18 months is a long time. I will, vote in favor of it, but that's my biggest concern.
I don't disagree with that, but I think that if you have an issue with some employees, I think that would be brought forward pretty quick by a department head, though.
Yeah, I think
Not
that,
necessarily a full evaluation, but if there was an issue, it would be brought forward no matter what.
Yeah, I'm not worried about it, but I guess I see part of the evaluation, then you turn around and get the employees to have some goals for the coming year, and you're waiting, it's going to be 18. That's what bothers me about it. Not that somebody we were having an issue with, that wouldn't have come forward, but that's a long period of time. That's comment. I'm not going to...
I agree with that.
I think we kind of agree with that, so you'll have to watch that, I guess.
Excuse me?
You'll have to watch that.
Yeah, yeah, and we discussed this fairly in depth at the department head meeting a couple weeks ago, and we may be able to find other ways to come up with an interim evaluation.
But think of it this way, I mean, we set annual goals with the taxpayers every year when we do the town budget. And getting our team lined up with that activity is probably pretty darn important. If we have performance issues, to Mr. Senecal's point, we should jerk those things right up and deal with them. But getting alignment with what our spending and our projects and those things, those ought to be in sync with, I think, our town budget. So I'm kind of where Linda is as well. We got to get to some annual thing going on here. Just something to think.
Yep.
Okay. Did somebody make a motion yet?
I'll make a motion to revise the Town of Wolfeboro Personnel Policy, Section 4, Annual Evaluation, as stated in the in our agenda here. Would you like to have that last sentence read, to have the employee just sign the evaluation, acknowledge receipt, rather than...
I think what'll happen, Brad, is upon our HR person coming back from training, probably going to provide us some language which we'll probably revisit this before we go into evaluation season.
Just leave it at that then, and to revise the personnel policy as presented here tonight to be completed no later than March 31st of each year.
Perfect.
Have a second? Okay, it's been second. All those in favor?
I have a question before we go vote. I'm assuming that there is no employee contract out there now that this will affect. I know ASME contract ends at the end of this year, and that would be my only red flag here, is that we have a contract that says something different than what's going on.
There's no language that I have observed within the ASME contract relative to performance evaluations. And as far as the PD is concerned, they fall under the commission anyhow.
I just want to make sure that we
I
don't
don't
have,
remember anything in that either.
unless it says follow all policies of the personnel, I
It
don't.
does reserve to follow policies and procedures of the town, but that's it.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anybody opposed? Next on the agenda, Employee Appreciation Day, September 27th. That's to be at Fossfield Pavilion, noon to 4. Mr. O'Brien has volunteered to cook again.
Excuse me? For those of you who were there last year and I
Already had that discussion with another cook. So you're it.
Would you like a motion?
Yes, I would.
Thanks,
For
Brad.
him to be the cook.
Thanks, pal.
I love it.
So we discussed this as well at department head meeting, and I've had some conversations with some employees who have been involved in this in the past. They felt that the full day appreciation day was a lot of work, and it kind of hindered some of our operations. We felt by creating half a day, we would work until noon. Offices would shut down at noontime, at which point the employees would participate in a cookout. If the employees chose from that point that they wanted to leave, they could. But the goal here is to hopefully promote some networking between multiple departments that we don't have an opportunity to do very often, and in a shorter window.
Okay. I don't think we need a vote on that. It's just to make us aware of what's happening. Okay, other business?
Well, I think we need to have a vote to close the offices starting at noon.
All right. Is there a second to that motion?
Second.
All's in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Any other business? Committee reports. Mr. O'Brien?
Yeah, I went to the master plan plenary here the other evening. That was pretty good. I guess there's another segment of that scheduled for the 17th of September. It was actually very well done. I'll let Linda talk about this as I'm the alternate. I've attended 2 energy committee meetings, so I'll let Linda speak to that. The cyanobacteria education team has now wrestled the 7 proposals down to 2. We're going to interview the 2 finalists, and then we're going to prepare a budget not only for the web property, but also for any resources, and we're going to give it over to the cyanobacteria team, which will ultimately come here, because it's going to have to find its way into a budget at some point in time. And I think, and I've been to a CIP meeting last week as well. That's it. Thank you.
Brad?
The only meeting I had was last week was the planning board, the presentation of the updated master plan. That's the only meeting I had.
I had none. So, Mr. Bowers?
A little interface for the Liberty Museum, which is not a meeting, and no committees.
And I also went to the master plan public hearing. I thought that was very well done. I went as an alternate to the CIP committee meeting, and we've been to 2 energy committee meetings. We talked about, and they're going to recommend net metering, distribution charges, grandfathering, and visual net metering, and they're going to come to the Board of Selectmen with those policies written out for our review and discussion. You got anything else, Paul?
No, that's it.
Okay. Town managers report?
As you've alluded to, we're well underway with CIP. Department budgets, we're working on those. There's one item that I'd like to bring to your attention this evening, specific to the library and the public safety building. There's an interconnection between the library and the public safety building that needs to be built. That has been approved. We're working to do the construction of that. The problem that we're running into is the library budget is extremely tight. We do have a warrant article which was established in 1998, which has $32,000 in it. The article reads, to see whether the town will vote to establish a capital reserve fund under the provisions of RSA 35:1 for the purpose of reconstruction of the parking lot at the public safety building. We feel that this falls within the criteria of that warrant article, and it will help offset some of the costs to the library. Additionally, there was some tree removal that occurred to facilitate some solar, if that comes down the road. And the thought process is that little island, we'll take that little island out, pave that. That'll make it much easier for plowing, and it'll make it much easier for the fire apparatus for angle of departure to leave the facility. So this is something that would be coming down the road. We would just like to get an idea if the Board of Selectmen would approve utilization of those capital reserve funds for that project.
I didn't hear your preamble. You said there's an interconnect needed? What is that?
Yeah, so there's a connection between the library and the public safety building, which there was one there previously. This is going back in as an emergency egress.
You're saying for cars?
No, for fire apparatus.
But you're saying for vehicles?
Yep.
Okay, I had a different thing in my mind.
No, it's for
interconnect.
vehicles. It's a
Okay,
paved interconnect
Thank
between the 2 facilities.
I have no problem using it. It definitely relates to a parking lot and putting it for the fire department. So to me, I think it clearly falls under that warrant article.
I have no problem either.
I agree, too.
Me too.
Okay, we'll pursue it.
Need a
And
motion?
No, I don't think we do. You'll just see it come forward at some point once we are invoiced for that work. Other than that, that's all I have.
Okay, any questions from the press? Nice short meeting.
You did it, Dave.
Oh,
Would you like a motion to go into non-public session?
yes, I would.
I'll make a motion to go into non-public.
Second?
Yes.
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 Okay. Thank you all.
Mary, thank you for being our audience.
Sorry.